I dedicated this podcast to independent artists. I want to give you guys a straight look in the industry, man. Also want to highlight people behind the music scene, business side. When people see people behind the scenes, they don't know who that is.
Yo, what's going on, man? Inkz, aka Mr. Billionaire. Welcome to Who's That Podcast, man. We'll interview some of the dopest people behind the scenes, shine light on them, and really, man, just give them their flowers, while they're here, while they can smell them. If you tuned in to Who's That Podcast, make sure you follow, subscribe us at Who's That Podcast. Shout out BSB Records. Right behind me, we giving artists major distribution. So make sure you check that out. It's on my page. Click the link in my bio. We also helping artists with promotion, marketing, the whole 9 yards, man. So make sure you check us out. So I usually have a guest on the show, but today what I'm gonna do is I got something called Quick Time with Inkz. So that's what this episode is dedicated, man, just helping artists. Some episodes I do buffers in between my guests just because I want to make sure the artist is getting a lot of information. Even though we shine light on people behind the scenes, the things that people are saying that's behind the scenes that I interview, I want to make sure the artists understand that and get that. So that's what these quick times is about. Just going over the things, we discussed in the prior interviews with our guests, just to make sure that if you missed it, you still get some, knowledge and things from it by checking out these quick time episodes. So listen, today, what I want to talk about is just Fanbase, man. I can't say it anymore. That's the most important thing for an artist. That's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to create leverage. That's how you really going to turn whatever you got into a whole empire. It's about building a fan base. And there's a few different ways you really can go about that. It really just depends on, how you want to do it. You know what I mean? So first, before you do anything, you want to figure out, right, how can I push my music? Where do I really want to go with it? Do I want to be a big artist, or do I just want to be more of a one-time hit? There's nothing wrong with either. You got to determine that. You got to look yourself in the mirror to see which route you want to go. Because depending on which route you want to go, that's going to determine your success and what you got going on, right? So if I want to be a bigger artist, I know I got to do different things in my route and my transition to get to that stage. If I want to be somebody that's a smaller artist or one-time hit, I'm just trying to get some money, that's a different scene as well. You know what I mean? So first you want to determine that and where you want to go, right? And then after you determine that, you want to look at your analytics, right? You want to see who listen to you right now. Is anybody listening to you? Because sometimes it's nobody listening to you. So you want to determine who listening to you, where they listen to you at, and you can check that out. Really, man, on any data sheet, Instagram album, Facebook album, any online platform should really have data sheets and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So you really want to get into your data, when, where, and why. And then you also want to break down your numbers as well, right? So I'm an analytical guy. I like studying numbers. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you're breaking down your numbers. See, this is a business at the same time. So how I'm going to look at it is, okay, if I got the numbers going on, I'm going to just break it down by number-wise, right? So if I'm looking to be a long-term artist, I'm looking for some longevity. In the music industry, I want to break everything down by numbers, right? So I want to make sure that my numbers are making sense. All right, so listen, I'm trying to build my fan base up. Let me start out with just 100 people, right? So let's just start off with 100 people to make sure that, okay, I'm trying to build my fan base up. I'm trying to take my time, but I'm also trying to captivate these certain people and tune into these certain people. A lot of times I notice artists are skipping over people that's really like them, really in tune to them. They're trying to go for somebody who's not really listening to them, when you really should be just tuned in to the people that's showing you support naturally without you begging them to do it, right? Because those are people who probably won't be there for a while, and you ain't got to really bribe them to get support. Also, you need to figure out, how can my music be heard without me actively pushing it? Because you can't stay up 24 hours a day. So that means you need to figure out where you can put your music at, that while you sleep, while you're not promoting, your music still getting heard, still getting seen, as if you was promoting it. So you got to think from a consumer standpoint, where can I put my music that it can be naturally played, seen, and heard without me actually being there, right? So once you go over your numbers, you know what your data points are looking like, you're analytical. And then again, this is just for long term. If you're trying to do long term, that's what this route is for. If you're trying to do short term, not really a fan of that, but just seeing other people do it, man, you need to be tuned in to like the trends. You need to see how you can put your own spin on things and just try to get in and get it out. You know, if you just want a one-hit wonder, you just want to, hey, I just need to get the song popping. You need to connect with everybody that's going on in the scene and try to get your song popping. You're going to spend a lot of money, though, with that, because to make a song a hit, unless you got some viral TikTok or like just organic dance or something like that, you're really going to have to push it yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you're independent, right? And I'm speaking more from an independent standpoint, because I believe you should get your fan base strong before you approach really any label, any investor, anything of that nature. You want to make sure that your fan base is super, super strong. You understand what I'm saying? So, like I said, let's recap some things so you can stick with me. Make sure you know your numbers, analytics. Make sure you know what's going on. Make sure you know what route you're on. You know, and ain't no route wrong. It really just depends on where you want to go with things. So make sure that's straight. Also, make sure you understand what you want out of this. You want to be here right now or long term, right? So, what I want to do as well, I want to make sure that artists, man, y'all going back to originality. I think that's a good way to build your fan base as well. You know, I want to say like 10 years ago, if I walk in a room, I could determine a bit, maybe not all the way, but I could determine somewhat where people were from. You know, by their dress, by their talk. Now, if I walk in a room and 10 people, I don't know where everybody from. They look the same. Everybody dressing the same. Everybody looking the same. Everybody got the same girl. Everybody got the same lingo. You know, I think God made everybody unique, so you should embrace your uniqueness, however that is. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with actually standing out and following the trends. Nothing wrong with that at all. But at the same time, man, you really want to, like, you know, try to stand out and in public. You know what I'm saying? When you go into these different places, you connect with these different people. If you're not really standing out, it's going to be hard for them to determine kind of like where you at with everything. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you approach different people. If you look like Billy, John, and Slim, hey, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, if you're looking like Billy, John, and Slim, man, it's gonna be hard for people to stand out. You know what you got going on, man. So you want to make sure that you're doing your thing, you're standing out, and you getting attention. Because at the end of the day, attention really is what it is, man. In 2022, attention is kind of more important than money in a lot of people's eyes, right? Because if you get the attention, you kind of get the money. But you got to get people to watch you. You got to get people to take the time out of their day to watch you, right? So you have a great day too. I appreciate that. Yeah, you have to find time and attention for people to stop. You gotta think it's a billion things going on right in the world. People going through all different type of stuff, and you want people to stop in their day to watch you, right? That's a strong thing. Understand what I'm saying? So to do that, you gotta really be captive, and you also gotta think to yourself, how can I get people to stop and watch me? You gotta be real with yourself. Okay, I can't really compete with people with money right now because I don't have a lot of money. I can't really compete with jury because I don't really have no jury. That puts you in your creative zone. You don't have to look like everybody else. You have to do everything. What's going to make you stand out from other people? You know, me and Av, we do this thing when we work with artists. We ask them, like, what's their 3 main points? So in your head, you should identify early, what do people like me for, right? What's going to make me stand out? And how can I take advantage and monetize that, right? Give you an example. Wiz Khalifa, he does an awesome job at that, just standing out. And people identify him from weed. And mind you, he was doing this early. He was doing a lot of things he's doing when it wasn't even popular. Weed, tattoos, and yeah, stoner music, player music like that. It got that vibe to it. So those are things people really attracted him for. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about yourself, why do people like you? You might got to go out and ask people that's going to give you a true, honest opinion. Why do they like your music? You could do a survey. You could throw a survey in your Instagram story or wherever you at and ask different people, what do they like about you? Because those things people like about you, I'm pretty sure it's somebody else that like the same thing about you. And then once you get all the things that people like about you, you put them together, right? You put them together and say, okay, people like me for my style, my charisma, and my sound. Now, how can I develop that? How can I monetize that? That's another word, too. I want you guys to remember monetization, right? Monetization. You want to remember that. And I might not be saying it right, but you know what I'm saying. Monetize things. You want to make sure that you can actually monetize whatever you're doing. It's like once you do get your fan base up, once you do know your numbers and your data, you want to make sure that you can monetize everything that you're doing, because that's how you're going to turn into money. That's how you turn nothing into something. Because you can figure out, okay, if I could turn this into this and I ain't even doing that much with it, I know I could turn that into something bigger, right? So you want to make sure you're monetizing everything you're doing. And then you also want to make sure that you're applying people to things that you can't do. When it comes to building a fan base, you might not be good at running ads, so stop trying to do them yourself. Why you keep spending money in something that's not working for you, right? It's not working. Drop the ego, right? And find somebody that can do it for you. Go to Upwork. If you can't find nobody personally, go to Fiverr.com, go to Upwork.com. These are two sites where it's freelancers that'll do ads for you. Now, you got to find the right person on there, but they have all their credentials on there. Or just find somebody in your family that's good at technology and computer stuff, and they could do it for you. But a big thing artists try to do, you try to do everything yourself. Number one, it takes time for your creativity and your music, so your music start lacking. Then you're not even good at it, so you're just wasting money. And one thing that's very, very important when you're independent or when you want to come up and you're trying to build your fan base is not spending money that's not working. Meaning that stop spending money all over the place and it's not giving you nothing. You got to be very strategic with your dollar. We already know we have a budget. We ain't got $1 million to spend over and over and over. So every dollar we spend it got to count for some. So if I'm running ads and they not working, I'm not going to keep running the same ad. It's not working. Switch the ad up. Find somebody that can do it or see why people are not liking it, right? People are not, if you run the ad, people are organically going to like it if they like it anyway, right? You can't really make somebody like something unless you play it like the radio 1,000,000 times. You got a radio budget. Excuse me. But find somebody on your team. Find somebody on freelancer. Find somebody on Fiverr. Find somebody on Upwork that can run your ads for you. Excuse me. So you can actually get what you putting into it. You know, again, as an independent artist, you want to be very strategic in what you do. You also want to make sure everything you're doing is making sense on your end and making money on your end, right? So another thing too, man, when you going, like when you got your fan base going, you know your numbers, you know your data, you're getting some feedback, some great feedback. You also want to touch these different cities that's giving you the feedback, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because data shows who liking you, what's not liking you. They show male, female, they show age range, they show cities, they show states. So if you know all this data, you're getting this data for free, you ain't even paying for it. Let's go to these cities and explore that, right? Let's put on the show there. Let's go to the showcase there. Let's go network with the DJs. Let's get in those cities and learn the big people that's in those cities that can open up some doors for us because we already got a fan base there, right? And if you say, hey, I ain't really got the money to really be traveling to these different cities, that's cool too. Save the money up, get a part-time job, do whatever you got to do to make it happen. Or if you just dead broke on your back, build it up in your city, right? I'm pretty sure you got people in your city that's attracted to you, that like what you got going on. Build up in your city. But this game really is like it's a gladiator sport. Music is a gladiator sport, and it's not really for the weak. You know, it's very competitive. It's a competition. It's 1 billion people trying to get in this door. So if it's 1 billion people trying to get in this door and you trying to make it happen, then the excuses are for the weak. So you got to lead them to the side. If you got a fan base in California and you need to be in California and that's where all your music is trending at, you need to figure out a way to California. You got people that don't want to hear you and want to see you. So you want to make sure that's where you at. Now, again, everything takes time, so you ain't got to do everything in a day. The world won't build in a day. It took 7. So take your time, have some patience, but make it happen at the end of the day, right? Because if somebody going to make it happen, you ain't going to make it happen. Somebody definitely going to make it happen on your behalf, right? So make sure you explore those different cities. Also, man, get back into networking. I think the digital age took out that. I had an interview with my guy Sleep, and he just spoke on being a DJ and how a lot of artists don't even try to work with them no more. He don't need a drink. You trying to get a service, so you need to pay him for his service. If you're in a club with these DJs, whatever, pay them for their service. That's a job. It's their job, right? But the staying in your house thing, it does work for some people. You know, you get blow up on TikTok or something like that, but it's not for everybody. So a good way to build your fan base up, man, go out there in your city and network, rub some shoulders. They call it kissing babies and shaking hands, man. You got to do that. You know, if you don't have that type of music that's organically on TikTok, or you got to dance or something like that, which to me, you know, it teaches on. But if you really trying to have some longevity, man, you're going to have to bust some shoulders and shake some hands, man. Get out there, back to doing that. Get back out there to putting in street work. Again, work smart, not hard, but at the same time, don't lose the social part of this, because it is a social part of this. You can't just stay in your room all day. You know, you all gonna have to talk to people. You all network people you don't like. They might be from a different side. They might be from a different town. They might be from a different culture, right? But you gotta learn how to operate in all that so you can be strong, so your fan base can grow. Also, make sure that you got the numbers. Again, I keep speaking on numbers because it's super important. You know, again, you could break your thing down by 20, 20, 20. You understand what I'm saying? 20, 40, 100, 200, 300, 1,000 people. You get 100 people to like what you got going on. Think about that. 100 people like what you got going on. That's 100 people streaming. That's 100 people buying your merch. 100 people is not a lot of people, right? I think so many people think about going to the top. You skip the little things, like 20 people, like 40 people. Invest into what you got going on. Don't skip that. Don't skip the people that's supporting you for people you don't know from a can of paint, right? You want to get everybody, but at the same time, you also want to show love to the people that's already showing love to you. You ain't got a bag for it. It's there for you, right? So let's recap some things so we can stay on path. Build your fan base. How you do that? Start with your numbers. Start with your analytics. Go to these different cities. Be different. Be original, right? Know what's going on in your data, but also let's not go overboard with the being different, right? So it's a lot of people, they doing things just for attention, which I'm not mad at that, right? I'm not mad at you doing things for attention, but at the same time, man, it's getting a little overboard, right? Now, if this is your sexuality, this is your originality, cool, I respect that. But doing things purely out of attention for something, you're going to get stuck in that, right? So you start doing things for attention by just doing things that's overboard. For example, wearing a skirt. Now, if that's your originality, that's your sexuality, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But if you're wearing a skirt just to get attention, whenever you get the attention, you get to where you got to go, that's not going to disappear, right? That's not going to disappear. That's not going to go nowhere. You wearing something, or you doing something that's out of pocket that's not really you, it doesn't go anywhere once you get to where you're trying to go. So you're going to get stuck in that, right? People are always going to bring that up. If that's not really you, it probably bother you, right? So you want to make sure that you're not just doing things out of attention, man. It's going to come back and bite you. I'm telling you this, right? So let's be different. Let's be original, but let's not go overboard with it. Let's stick with who we are as a person and remain that. You understand what I'm saying? That's going to keep you humble. That's going to keep a lot of things intact. You know what I'm saying? So let's make sure we doing that, man. Make sure you keeping track of everything that I'm saying. Last but not least, man, let's not forget the people that was there for us, right? I see a lot of people get a fan base and they start shitting on their fan base. These are the people that put you in this position. They're the people, the only reason why you got all of this. Don't get to a place where you so high in the air that you can't hear nobody talk to you. A lot of times when you get a lot of money, you have a lot of fast success, you don't even hear no more. You so rich or you got so much money, you don't even hear no more. And just experiencing success at a fast rate, it can be dangerous, you know. It can be really dangerous because you stop listening to the close people that got your best interest. Now, I ain't telling you listen to everybody, but there's a lot of people that really do got your best interest. Don't walk away from that. Don't disappear from that, right? Make sure you stick around, you listen to that, and keep being humble. You understand what I'm saying? Don't shit on your fan base. And most importantly, man, give back to your fan base. People are so gimme. They're not giving nothing back. Your fan base supports you. Those 10, 20 people support you. What are you doing for them? What are you doing for them? They ain't got to support you. They could support somebody else. So think about that. I got 40, 50 people supporting me, man. What can I do for them? How can I show love? How can I dedicate something to them? Figure out what you can give back to them, right? Stop being so greedy and keep taking, and not giving them back. So that's your quick time with Inkz, man. Again, this episode is dedicated to Fanbase. Again, this is Who's That Podcast. I appreciate everybody tuning in, showing love. Make sure you follow us at Who's That Podcast. Follow me at Trendset Inkz, man. And we out of here. Another episode down. Check us out, subscribe, follow. Thank you.